Hello there, and welcome to Sleep Science 360. I'm glad you found your way back tonight. Maybe your day stretched a little too far, or maybe you're someone who slips into rest more easily when the mind is held by quiet wonders instead of counting sheep. Either way, you're safe here now. Your breath slows, your body softens, and gravity feels just a little gentler than before. Because tonight, we drift into something calm and ancient, the most relaxing facts about astronomy, woven into a gentle night sky meant only for you, above you. Starlight that began its journey long before you were born is touching your skin in this very moment. As one old astronomer once wrote, light that has traveled 1 billion years arrives as softly as a sigh. And so we begin. Not by looking at the universe, but by floating inside it, letting its slow rhythms guide you toward the quiet you've been searching for. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Somewhere in the quiet of space, our solar system drifts the way a lantern floats on a still pond, slow, steady, unhurried by anything around it. We move with it tonight, carried inside a gentle gravitational cradle that has existed for about 4-6 billion years, a span so long that even mountains on Earth rise and vanish many times over within that cosmic breath. You can rest now, slow and low. At the heart of everything lies the sun, not raging tonight, not loud or fierce, but warm, ancient, and extraordinarily patient. Its light travels 300,000 kilometers per second. Yet, the beam that touches your skin began its journey at the sun's core, nearly 170,000 years ago. That tiny fact rests quietly in the mind like a soft ember light that predates every human civilization moves across space simply to arrive here. Now, in this moment, when you are lying in the dark, somewhere, light continues to travel around that golden star. 8 worlds follow their own slow spirals, each with a rhythm as distinct as a heartbeat. Mercury drifts closest, completing an orbit in just 88 Earth days. A quick whisper around the sun. Venus, wrapped in bright clouds, spins so slowly that a single day lasts 243 Earth days, longer than its year. These aren't just facts, they are the steady breathing of the cosmos, measured across time so gently that the mind softens as it listens. You can rest now, slow and safe. We float past Earth, our blue home, circling the sun every 365 days, a rhythm so familiar that we rarely notice its grace. Yet, every orbit is unique. Tiny gravitational nudges from Jupiter, the largest planet, shift Earth's path by barely a fraction of a fraction, but enough to create the long dance of climates and seasons over tens of thousands of years. It is a comforting thing to remember even the changes that shape our world move with incredible slowness. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Mars appears next, a world tinted red by dust, older than Earth's continents. For billions of years, winds on Mars have carved the same valleys, pushed the same grains, whispered the same soft patterns across plains that stretch for thousands of kilometers. At night there, the temperature can fall below 120 degrees Celsius, and the atmosphere becomes still enough that a single dust grain may not move for days. When we imagine that stillness, the mind gently quiets itself. Somewhere far from here, silence wraps an entire world, and beyond Mars, a boundary shifts. The inner rocky worlds end, and the domain of giants begins. Enormous planets with atmospheres so wide that a single cloud system can dwarf the whole Earth. Jupiter, more massive than all other planets combined, turns once every 10 hours, creating winds that race at over 500 kilometers per hour. Yet when viewed from a distance, its bands move with dreamlike smoothness, as if painted in slow spirals by an unseen hand. You can rest now, slow and low. Saturn drifts even farther out, wrapped in rings made mostly of ice pieces, ranging from grains no larger than sugar to boulders the size of houses. They orbit the planet at speeds up to 75, 0 kilometers per hour. Yet, from afar, they seem motionless, like thin strokes of light laid across black velvet. Nothing hurried, nothing harsh, just billions of icy particles circling with patient harmony. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. As we move outward, the sun's warmth fades, but its pull remains. Uranus tilts on its side, spinning like a rolling marble. Neptune whispers, with winds reaching 0 kilometers per hour, the fastest in the solar system. Yet from this distance, they feel like a sigh across a cold sea. Out here, time stretches, days lengthen. Light arrives with the softness of evening. It's okay to drift gently, low and slow, even farther. Beyond the orbits of the known planets lies a space where sunlight is so faint that it feels more like memory than illumination. The realm of icy worlds, quiet comets, drifting objects that take hundreds of years just to complete a single loop around the sun. This region reminds us that the solar system is not a tight cluster, but a long, slow expansion into the dark. You can rest now, slow and still. And as we drift here, held in a space older than anything we know, a soft understanding forms. The solar system is not in a hurry. Its rhythms are older than sound, older than language, older than every story the Earth has ever told. Every orbit, every rotation, every faint beam of sunlight becomes a reminder that vastness can be gentle, and gentleness can be infinite. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It moves with a quiet certainty, the whole solar system drifting around the Milky Way at nearly 220 kilometers per second. Yet from our place inside it, everything feels perfectly still. This is one of the softest truths in astronomy. Motion on cosmic scales becomes so vast, so continuous, that it feels like rest. You are safe here, gentle and low. Each planet, each moon, each ring is part of this slow celestial migration. The orbits stretch across billions of kilometers, yet the underlying rhythm never breaks. For over 4 billion years, these worlds have followed their paths with the patience of drifting tides. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Take the asteroid belt, a scattered region between Mars and Jupiter. It isn't crowded the way movies imagine. Most rocks drift hundreds of thousands of kilometers apart, moving so gradually that a collision is incredibly rare. This space is not chaos. It is calm, wide, and almost silent. You can rest now, slow and low, beyond the giants. In a region called the Kuiper Belt, tiny frozen bodies circle the sun in orbits so long that some require 250 years or more to finish a single loop. Pluto is among them, turning beneath skies so dim that noon there resembles twilight on Earth. Its atmosphere freezes and collapses onto the surface during its farthest winters, then gently rises again as it approaches the sun. Even atmospheres can rest and rise and rest again. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Farther still lies the domain of comets. They carry ancient ice formed before the planets existed, drifting for tens of thousands, sometimes millions of years before falling inward toward the sun. When they warm, jets of vapor rise like gentle sighs, forming the tails that trail behind them. A comet's glow is not fire. It is sunlight touching dust that has waited longer than any human memory. It's okay to drift, slow and low. All of this motion, orbits, rotations, migrations, is tied to gravity, an invisible softness that pulls without touching. It binds Earth to the sun, the moon to Earth, the rings to Saturn, and entire clusters of icy fragments to the farthest reaches of space. Gravity is both anchor and lullaby, guiding every world in a long, slow curve that never needs to rush. You can rest now, still and safe. If you listen closely with your imagination, the solar system has a sound, not one made of air or pressure, but of rhythm. Earth spins once every 24 hours. Jupiter turns in just 10. A year on Neptune lasts 165 Earth years. Each world creates its own tempo, and together they form a cosmic metronome that has been ticking softly since the dawn of time. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. From Earth, the sun's light arrives after 8 minutes and 20 seconds. But from Neptune, it takes over 4 hours to make the same journey. This means the outer planets see a calmer version of the sun, a distant glow with long, slow shadows. Imagine landscapes where light spreads gently across frozen plains, where days last longer, and where time seems to move with fewer demands. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Scientists believe that, beyond the Kuiper Belt, a vast shell of icy objects, the Oort cloud, surrounds our solar system like a distant halo. Its farthest reaches may extend nearly 1 light-year from the sun. These objects, untouched for billions of years, drift just within the sun's faint gravitational pull. Some will never fall inward, some will slowly. After millions of years, their journeys are patient beyond comprehension. You can rest now, slow and still. And through all of these layers, from the warm inner planets to the frozen outer regions, a single truth threads everything together. The solar system is not a place of violence or noise when viewed across deep time. It is a place of balance, of slow arcs and gentle cycles, of long shadows and drifting motion. Even storms on Jupiter settle, even comets calm, Even entire worlds follow the quiet choreography shaped by gravity and light. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Tonight, as your body settles deeper into stillness, the solar system becomes less an object of study and more a companion, a steady presence turning through the dark with you. Its vastness does not overwhelm, it steadies, soothes, and reminds you that every motion in nature, from the spin of Earth to the rise of your chest, belongs to the same quiet physics. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It becomes clearer as we drift deeper into this gentle cosmic neighborhood, that every world carries its own quiet story. The solar system isn't just a collection of planets. It is a layered memory of how light, dust, ice, and gravity learn to shape themselves into something stable. You can rest now, slow and low. In its earliest days, more than 5 billion years ago, everything here was a swirling disk of gas and debris turning around a newborn sun. Temperatures near the center soared high enough to melt stone, while the outer regions remained cold enough for ice to survive. This single temperature gradient, hot inside, cold outside, is what sculpted the entire architecture of the solar system. Somewhere, light continues to travel, closer to the sun. Materials that withstand heat metals, silicates. Minerals began to clump into tiny grains. Collisions happened, but over long periods. Most were gentle, like drifting snowflakes tapping one another in slow motion. Over millions of years, those grains became pebbles, then boulders, then roughly spherical worlds. This is why Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars share the same rocky nature. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Farther out, where sunlight was faint and temperatures fell below 150 degrees Celsius, ice became as common as dust. These cold regions formed much larger bodies because ice stuck together more readily and existed in far greater abundance. This is why Jupiter and Saturn grew massive enough to capture hydrogen and helium, the lightest gases in the universe, becoming giants with atmospheres thicker than any ocean. You can rest now, slow and safe. As we drift through this history, the simplicity of it feels calming. The solar system did not rush into being. It took tens of millions of years just to settle into a stable shape, and hundreds of millions more to quiet the last waves of turbulence. Every crater on every moon, every ring around Saturn, every piece of floating ice in the Kuiper Belt is a gentle reminder of that slow settling. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. When Jupiter formed, its enormous gravity reshaped everything nearby. Asteroids that might have become planets were pulled into chaotic orbits, forming the asteroid belt instead of a new world. Most of these objects remain harmless, separated by distances so vast that spacecraft routinely pass through without seeing a single rock. The calm of deep space is far greater than the chaos imagined in fiction. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Saturn's rings, perhaps the most iconic structure in the solar system, are believed to be relatively young, possibly only 100–200 million years old. They might have formed from a shattered moon or captured icy debris, spreading into perfect, thin arcs that extend over 280,000 kilometers, but are often just tens of meters thick. From space, they appear as luminous, delicate lines. Up close, they are billions of tiny, icy breaths orbiting in harmony. You can rest now. Still and soft, Uranus and Neptune, though often overlooked, hold some of the most mysterious atmospheres in the solar system. Neptune's deep blue color comes from methane absorbing red light and scattering blue, while winds on the planet can reach 0 kilometers per hour. But from our distant vantage point, these storms do not feel violent. They feel like a distant whisper passing across a quiet ocean somewhere. Light continues to travel. As we drift along these outer paths, the scale becomes soothing rather than overwhelming. Distances are so large, velocities so constant, and cycles so long that time itself seems to slow. Neptune takes 165 Earth years to complete a single orbit. The Oort cloud, the farthest boundary of the solar system, may take millions of years to finish its loop. Imagine motion that gentle, that patient, that unhurried. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And through all these layers, from hot inner rocks to cold outer ices, runs one continuous thread. Every part of the solar system formed from the same ancient cloud, made of the same elements, touched by the same first light. In this way, all worlds are siblings, sharing origins older than memory, older than the Earth itself. It's okay to drift slow and low tonight. As we continue exploring this quiet architecture, the solar system begins to feel less like a vast scientific structure and more like a gentle arrangement designed for rest. Each fact settles like dust on a sunlit windowsill, soft, quiet, unmoving. You can rest now, safe and slow. Somewhere, light continues to travel. They move through space with a grace that seems effortless. Planets, moons, rings, dust, all following a choreography shaped by gravity's gentle pull. When seen from far above the ecliptic plane, the solar system becomes a quiet clock face, each orbit a sweeping hand turning across millions of kilometers. Each world a marker of time so slow it feels like eternity brushing lightly against the dark. You can rest now, slow and low. Moons add another layer to this silent rhythm. Earth's moon, formed roughly 5 billion years ago, drifts away from us at about 8 centimeters per year, the width of a fingernail, creating tides so steady that they've shaped coastlines for ages. On Jupiter, moons like Io, Europa, and Ganymede orbit with such precise timing that their gravitational tugs resonate like soft chords, creating volcanic heat on Io and subsurface oceans beneath Europa's ice. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Europa's ocean may hold more water than all of Earth's combined. Beneath its frozen crust, stretching for tens of kilometers, a global sea moves in silence, warmed by tidal forces instead of sunlight. Imagine that a hidden ocean drifting in darkness for millions of years, untouched, unbroken, and profoundly calm. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Saturn's moon Titan carries thick, golden clouds, and lakes of liquid methane. But its winds are gentle, often just 1-2 meters per second, slow enough that a feather might drift downward for minutes before touching the ground. The atmosphere there is dense, soft, and warm enough to scatter sunlight into a permanent twilight glow. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Neptune's moon, Triton, moves in the opposite direction of Neptune's rotation, a retrograde orbit, likely the result of being captured long ago. Its nitrogen geysers rise quietly in plumes over 8 kilometers tall, but they fall gently, carried by winds on a world colder than any place on Earth. Cold here is not harsh, it is stillness made physical. Silence carved into ice. You can rest now, safe and slow. Even dust has its story. Fine grains released by comets and asteroid collisions drift inward toward the sun over thousands of years due to pointing. Robertson drag a soft, subtle interaction between sunlight and matter. The result is the zodiacal light, a faint glow sometimes seen before dawn, created by sunlight scattering off billions of tiny particles. It is the solar system's quiet haze, a shimmering whisper in the dark, in the quiet between stars. You are remembered. The solar system's magnetic fields also shape its calm architecture. Jupiter's magnetosphere, the largest structure generated by a planet, extends nearly 7 million kilometers toward the Sun and stretches far beyond the orbit of Saturn on the opposite side. Yet, even something so huge feels gentle at this scale, a soft shield, bending charged particles into spiraling paths that generate auroras larger than Earth itself. Somewhere, light continues to travel. And then there is the heliosphere, the Sun's protective bubble, stretching beyond 100 astronomical units, shielding everything inside from much of the interstellar wind. It flows outward at about 400 kilometers per second. But by the time it reaches its edge, the speed softens and the solar wind meets the interstellar medium with a sigh, forming the termination shock. The solar system breathes outward endlessly, like a long, low exhale across the dark. You can rest now, soft and slow. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, tiny messengers launched in 1977, continue drifting outward through this boundary. They move at over 17 kilometers per second, yet they carry a feeling of calm, small, silent craft gliding through regions untouched for billions of years. Their golden record spins slowly inside them, holding sounds of earth waves, wind, human voices. Even here, at the farthest edge of our sun's reach, something human gently persists. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. All these layers, the planets, the moons, the rings, the dust, the magnetic fields, the heliosphere form one coherent, quiet organism. It is not chaotic. It is not rushed. It is an endless spiral of balance, moving through the galaxy with slow confidence. The older you understand it to be, the calmer it feels. You can rest now, low and still, and as this part of the journey drifts toward its soft close, one truth rises gently through the imagery. The solar system is not just a place you observe. It is a place you belong to, a slow, luminous arrangement that has carried Earth and every life upon it through space for billions of years. The same gravity that holds Jupiter's moons in perfect resonance is the gravity that holds you to your bed. The same sunlight that warms the rings of Saturn warms your hands, your face, your breathing. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It reveals more of its quiet structure the further we drift into the solar system's inner harmonies. Beneath orbits and distances lies something softer, a network of resonances, long cycles, and gravitational murmurs that move like tides across billions of kilometers. These patterns are not loud. They are not sudden. They are slow. Ancient rhythms shaping every world with the gentlest touch. You can rest now, slow and low. The most familiar of these rhythms is the cycle of seasons on Earth caused by a 23.5-degree tilt that has remained stable for millions of years thanks to the moon's presence. Without the moon, Earth's axis might wobble wildly, shifting climates in abrupt and unpredictable ways. Instead, a quiet partnership holds our planet steady, allowing temperature and daylight to breathe in long, predictable waves. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Mars has seasons too, though far colder and longer. Its orbit is more elliptical, meaning that when it drifts slightly closer or farther from the sun, the change in warmth is noticeable. Dust storms rise in response, soft at first, then spreading across the entire planet, lifting fine grains into the sky for months at a time. Yet even here, the winds usually stay below 60 kilometers per hour, far gentler than those imagined in stories. Mars moves slowly, breathes slowly, changes slowly. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even the giant planets follow deep rhythms. Jupiter's storms can last centuries. The Great Red Spot, more than 16,000 kilometers wide, has slowly shrunk over the last decades, settling into a smaller, rounder form. Imagine a storm so old that no human alive has ever known a time without it, and yet so gradual in its evolution that it feels like watching a candle flame flicker in slow motion across generations. You can rest now, soft and safe. Saturn has its own cycles, every 29.5 Earth years. As Saturn completes one orbit, the angle of its rings shifts relative to our line of sight. Sometimes they open wide, gleaming like luminous wings. Sometimes they narrow so thin they nearly disappear. This slow turning of the rings is one of the solar system's quietest spectacles, a motion so gentle you can barely sense it, yet so persistent it becomes an astronomical heartbeat. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Uranus carries the strangest rhythm of all, tilted by about 98 degrees. It essentially rolls along its orbit like a drifting marble. This tilt creates extreme seasons for 21 Earth years. One hemisphere faces the sun continuously, while the other lies in unbroken night. Yet, even in such extremes, the atmosphere remains calm for long stretches, its clouds forming faint, delicate bands. A planet tipped sideways still moves with grace. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Neptune's rhythm lies in its deep, cold winds. Despite its great distance, more than 4.5 billion kilometers from the sun, energy moves through its atmosphere in smooth currents, forming great dark spots that appear and fade over decades. Nothing is permanent here. Nothing is rushed. Patterns emerge, dissolve, reappear, quiet gestures across a blue world wrapped in icy calm. You can rest now, low and still, beyond the visible planets. Slower cycles unfold. Comets follow orbits that can stretch hundreds of thousands of years. Some began falling inward long before humans existed. Others will not return until long after Earth's continents drift into unfamiliar shapes. Their tails form only when sunlight touches their icy surfaces, creating soft streams of dust that stretch for millions of kilometers. These tails are not fire or speed. They are the gentlest form of release. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even the sun itself has a rhythm, the 11-year solar cycle, during which magnetic activity rises and falls. Sunspots bloom, fade, and return in patterns so steady that ancient astronomers recorded them centuries before telescopes were invented. At its quietest, the sun is smooth and calm. At its peak, subtle flares ripple through space, carried outward by the solar wind. Yet over billions of years, the sun's output has remained remarkably stable, allowing life to flourish in a gentle equilibrium. Somewhere, light continues to travel, and threading through all these rhythms is the slow migration of the planets themselves. Jupiter moves outward by fractions of millimeters per year. Earth's rotation slows by about 1.7 milliseconds per century, lengthening our days with such patience that no single lifetime could ever detect the change. The universe adjusts everything in increments too soft for the human eye, too gradual for the human calendar. You can rest now, soft and safe. As this section drifts toward its quiet end, the truth becomes clear. The solar system is not defined by motion alone, but by the softness of that motion, by cycles playing out over tens of thousands, millions, and billions of years, by patterns that move the way your breath moves when you lie in the dark, long, slow, and steady. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Somewhere, light continues to travel. They continue their slow migration through space. These worlds and moons and drifting fragments, each one moving to a tempo so long and so delicate that it becomes almost musical. Not a melody you hear, but one you feel. The way you feel gravity's pull or the warmth of sunlight on your skin. You can rest now, slow and low. Each orbit has its own emotional shape. Mercury moves quickly, finishing a loop around the sun every 88 Earth days. But even its speed feels gentle at a cosmic scale, like a small stone circling a lantern. Venus rotates backward, its day lasting 243 Earth days, giving its clouds time to swirl in endless, slow spirals shaped by winds that rarely exceed 360 kilometers per hour at the cloud tops. Even storms there turn with a kind of softness, as if wrapped in velvet light. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Earth resonates with a quiet complexity. Its magnetic field shifts slightly every year. Its atmosphere breathes in seasonal cycles, and the tides rise and fall with lunar precision on long time scales. Earth's orbit oscillates in gentle patterns called Milankovitch cycles, changes in shape, tilt, and wobble that unfold over 20, 0, 0, 0, 40, 0, 0, 0, and 100, 0, 0, 0 years. These cycles helped guide the rhythm of ice ages, shaping the planet with unimaginable patience. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Mars has its own oscillations. Its axial tilt changes more dramatically than Earth's, sometimes reaching 60 degrees, reshaping its climate every 100,000 years or so. But the pace of these changes is so slow that the planet feels like it is sleeping rather than shifting dust settling. Frost forming, winds tracing long arcs across old plains. You can rest now, soft and safe. Jupiter's moons add harmony to its massive presence. Io's volcanic eruptions follow predictable gravitational pulses. Europa's icy shell flexes in rhythm with its orbit, potentially cracking and shifting over tens of kilometers as liquid water moves beneath. Ganymede generates its own magnetic field, the only moon known to do so, creating auroras that shimmer faintly in its thin atmosphere. This trio moves in a resonance called a Laplace resonance for every orbit of Ganymede. Europa completes 2, and Io completes 4, a perfect cosmic chord. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Saturn's system is even more intricate. Its rings oscillate with tiny waves caused by passing moons, ripples only tens of meters high, but stretching for hundreds of kilometers. The planet's rotation creates bands in its atmosphere, and deep within, metallic hydrogen swirls slowly, generating a magnetic field that extends millions of kilometers. Yet nothing about Saturn feels heavy or harsh. It is a world of gentle shapes, soft arcs, and pale gold light. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Uranus holds a hidden rhythm in its deep interior convection currents that may rise and fall over centuries, shaping faint zones and storms on its surface. Its extreme tilt creates decades of sunlight followed by decades of night, giving the planet time to cool, rest, and brighten again. These cycles are not rushed. They are the long dreams of a distant world. You can rest now, slow and still. Neptune hums with its blue storms, appearing and fading like slow pulses. Its winds are the fastest in the solar system, reaching to 0 kilometers per hour. Yet from afar, they resemble moving shadows, gentle and diffused. The planet radiates more energy than it receives, creating a steady upward flow of heat that drives its atmospheric patterns. Energy rising, clouds drifting, shadows moving across quiet blue. Somewhere, light continues to travel. All these motions, tilts, rotations, oscillations, resonances, migrations create a solar system that is not static, but deeply alive in the calmest possible way. A place where change happens, but only softly, only slowly, only in long intervals that echo through deep time. The more one listens to these rhythms, the more the mind begins to mirror them, slowing, lengthening, drifting into the same pace. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And as this segment settles, the solar system becomes not just a structure of numbers and cycles, but a comforting presence, a gentle space where even worlds the size of giants move with care, where storms can last centuries, yet fade quietly, where ice can hold ancient oceans in place for millions of years, where dust can drift inward at the rate of a falling snowflake. Everything moves, everything rests, everything drifts in its own slow, luminous way. You can rest now, safe and low, somewhere. Light continues to travel. It becomes clearer now that the solar system is shaped as much by light as by gravity. Light defines warmth and cold, day and night, glow and shadow. And across billions of kilometers, that same sunlight softens, stretches, and fades in ways that feel almost like breathing wide and slow. You can rest now, slow and low, near the sun. Light is fierce and bright. At Mercury's orbit, sunlight is 7 times stronger than on Earth. The illuminated surface can reach over 430 degrees Celsius, while the night side cools to 180 degrees Celsius, creating one of the most dramatic temperature swings in the solar system. Yet drop the scale back, widen the view, and the extremes blur into a single, quiet contrast: heat flowing outward, cold flowing inward. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Venus, wrapped in thick clouds, receives a similar amount of sunlight but traps heat so efficiently that its surface reaches 465 degrees Celsius, the hottest of any planet. Winds circle the planet in a phenomenon called superrotation, whipping around the globe 60 times faster than the planet spins. But from space, those clouds appear serene, smooth, pale, swirling softly beneath a golden haze. Venus is harsh to visit, but gentle to watch. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Earth rests in the sun's temperate band, receiving just enough warmth to hold oceans, clouds, and life. Sunlight here takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel across 150 million kilometers of emptiness. Every sunrise is the arrival of light that began its journey when you were doing something completely ordinary: eating, walking, breathing. These small facts settle like dust, quiet and familiar. You can rest now, safe and low. Farther out, Mars receives only about 44% of the sunlight that Earth does. Its skies glow softly during dust storms, scattering sunlight into warm, saffron hues. At sunset, the atmosphere refracts light in the opposite direction of Earth, creating blue sunsets instead of red. Imagine standing there, the cold air still, the horizon glowing sapphire, the sun slipping behind rust-colored dunes at the slowest imaginable pace. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. And then, beyond Mars, the warmth drops sharply. At Jupiter's distance, sunlight is 25 times weaker than on Earth. Yet, clouds there reflect it beautifully: bands of whites, creams, ochres, and blues turning in gentle spirals. These clouds, stretching thousands of kilometers, are composed of ammonia crystals and other compounds that scatter sunlight in soft, creamy tones. Nothing is sharp. Nothing is rushed. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Saturn receives barely 1% of Earth's sunlight, but that faint illumination is exactly what makes its rings so hauntingly beautiful. Thin sheets of ice crystals catch the light and glow with a subtle, ghost-like brightness that changes with the sun's angle. Sometimes they appear pale gold, sometimes icy white, sometimes almost invisible. Light is gentler here, more patient. You can rest now, still and soft. Uranus and Neptune dwell in realms where sunlight is little more than a whisper. On Neptune, sunlight is 900 times weaker than the light reaching Earth. Yet the blue methane clouds scatter it so efficiently that the planet glows with surprising clarity. It is a world lit by memory, faint light stretched thin across billions of kilometers, still shimmering in soft blue. Somewhere, light continues to travel, even at the edge of the solar system, in the Kuiper Belt and beyond. The sun still shines. Its light there is as dim as moonlight on Earth, but it is enough to reveal icy surfaces on Pluto, enough to cast long shadows behind drifting objects, enough to guide comets as they fall inward. Light becomes not brightness, but presence, a distant signal that the sun is still with them. Even across unimaginable distances, you breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Heat, too, flows gently across the solar system. Planets cool slowly over billions of years. Moons radiate warmth from tidal forces. Even the sun itself brightens at a rate so small that it will take 1 billion years for its luminosity to increase by 10%. Everything warms and cools in slow gradients, in long breaths, in quiet symmetries that help the mind soften, loosen, and drift. You can rest now, slow and safe. Tonight, as we drift through these patterns of light and shadow, the solar system feels less like a mechanical structure and more like a slow unfolding of warmth. Light leaves the sun, travels outward, touches worlds, fades, and continues until it dissolves into the dark. Every moment, the solar system glows and exhales, glows and exhales a cosmic rhythm as steady as your own breath. Somewhere, light continues to travel. They continue drifting through gradients of light and darkness, worlds suspended in a soft continuum between warmth and cold. The solar system isn't bright or dim, it is both, layered gently across billions of kilometers. Each planet receives light in its own measure, shaped by distance, atmosphere, and motion. You can rest now, slow and low. Between planets, sunlight thins into a delicate haze. Dust from comets and asteroids scatters it into what astronomers call the zodiacal light, a faint triangular glow visible just before dawn. From Earth, it looks almost like the memory of daylight rather than daylight itself, rising softly along the ecliptic plane. This glow is created by particles as small as smoke drifting in orbits that circle the sun for thousands of years. Somewhere, light continues to travel, closer to the sun. The solar wind flows outward, a constant stream of charged particles traveling 800 kilometers per second, reaching the edge of the solar system over the course of a year. Yet, even this wind feels like a whisper when imagined across deep space, its presence softening as it spreads, at the heliopause, where the pressure of interstellar space pushes back. The solar wind slows and changes direction, forming a kind of cosmic exhale. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The sun's corona, its outer atmosphere, extends millions of kilometers into space, with temperatures reaching over 1,000,000 degrees Celsius. But temperature in space doesn't feel like heat. The particles are too few to transfer warmth. So, despite the numbers, the corona feels diffuse, quiet, almost ghost-like. It is a reminder that not all extremes are felt. Some remain theoretical whispers, drifting across the emptiness. You can rest now, soft and safe. Beyond the planets, light starts to act differently. On Pluto, midnight is illuminated by starlight that includes a tiny, faint contribution from the sun. The sun there is only 1/1/600th as bright as on Earth, appearing no larger than a glowing pinhead. Shadows stretch long and soft across nitrogen plains, and sunsets cast pale streaks of blue into the thin atmosphere. Light still reaches this far, but quietly. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. And even farther into the Oort cloud, sunlight becomes so faint that it is barely distinguishable from the glow of distant stars. Here, tiny icy bodies drift almost motionless, held loosely by the sun's gravity across distances approaching 1 light year. These objects may complete a single orbit only once every tens of millions of years. Imagine the patience of such a journey, drifting through a realm where one day blends into the next without boundaries. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Thermal gradients shape the solar system in their own gentle ways. Jupiter emits more heat than it receives, warmed by slow compression deep within. Saturn radiates even more compared to its input from the sun, glowing softly from internal processes that release energy across millions of years. Neptune, cold and dark, still shines faintly from residual heat left over from its formation. Heat does not disappear here. It lingers, settles, fades only very slowly. You can rest now, slow and still. Then there is the subtle phenomenon called thermal inertia, the ability of surfaces to hold on to heat. The moon's regolith warms during the long lunar day, but cools dramatically under the 2-week night, dropping to 170 degrees Celsius. Mars warms quickly, but loses heat quickly too. By contrast, Earth's oceans hold sunlight long after sunset, releasing it through the night in slow, calming waves. Some worlds forget heat instantly. Some remember it for hours. Some remember it for ages. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And beyond every measurable temperature lies an emotional rhythm. Light expands, warmth fades, shadows lengthen, cold rises. Every world experiences these cycles, but on scales too large for stress, too slow for urgency. Nothing demands quickness here. Nothing moves with pressure. Time stretches, spreads, softens into gentle gradients. You can rest now, safe and low. Tonight, drifting through these long corridors of warmth and cold. Your own breathing begins to mirror the solar system's quiet patterns. Warmth rising with the inhalation, coolness settling with the exhale, a slow transition, a rhythm older than memory. The solar system teaches without speaking that change can be soft, that light can fade without fear. That darkness is simply another form of calm. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It becomes easier to understand the solar system when we turn inward, not toward the spaces between worlds, but into the worlds themselves. Every planet, every moon, every drifting object holds layered secrets beneath its surface, each one shaped by slow processes unfolding across unimaginable spans of time. You can rest now, slow and low. Deep within Earth, the solid inner core spins slightly faster than the mantle surrounding it. Temperatures approach 500 degrees Celsius, similar to the surface of the sun, while pressures are so immense that iron behaves more like a dense crystal than a metal. This inner core rotates with a difference of a few tenths of a degree per year, a drift so subtle yet strong enough to help generate Earth's magnetic field. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Mars, though smaller, tells a quieter story. Its core cooled long ago, allowing its magnetic field to fade. Without that protective shield, the solar wind gradually stripped away much of Mars's atmosphere over billions of years. But this loss did not happen suddenly. It was a slow exhalation that unfolded molecule by molecule, leaving behind thin air and silent plains still marked by ancient rivers. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Venus hides its interior beneath thick clouds, but even there, motion persists. Heat rises through its mantle in vast plumes, occasionally causing the crust to subside or shift. Scientists believe Venus may completely overturn its surface every few 100 million years, not through violence, but through a slow melting and reshaping of continents. The planet remakes itself gently, in glacial intervals. You can rest now, soft and safe, on the gas giants. Interiors become even more mysterious. Jupiter's clouds are only the thinnest film atop a deep ocean of gas and liquid. As pressure increases, hydrogen becomes metallic, conducting electricity and generating a vast magnetic field. This metallic hydrogen ocean may be tens of thousands of kilometers deep, swirling with currents measured across centuries rather than minutes. Imagine storms that drift not just across the surface, but deep within currents, moving in hidden layers beneath soft bands of color. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Saturn's interior is similar but softer, a core of rock and ice, surrounded by liquid metallic hydrogen, wrapped in layers of molecular hydrogen that form its pale upper clouds. Saturn's density is so low, only 0.69 grams per cubic centimeter, that if there were an ocean large enough, the entire planet could float. Even its storms reflect this gentleness. The Great White Spot appears once every 30 Earth years, then fades again, like a thought dissolving into quiet. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Uranus and Neptune hold interiors rich in water. Ammonia and methane, a realm scientists call icy giants. Though their cores may resemble hot oceans rather than cold rocks, pressures here can transform water into exotic states, including superionic ice, where oxygen atoms form a solid lattice while hydrogen ions flow like liquid through it. This strange material may help generate their magnetic fields, tilted and off-center, giving each world a peculiar rhythm. You can rest now, slow and still, beneath Europa's icy surface. A global ocean extends for 6,150 kilometers, warmed by tidal flexing. This water moves in the dark with slow currents, likely carrying heat from rocky vents similar to those found in Earth's deep oceans. Imagine an entire sea, larger than all of Earth's oceans combined, drifting beneath ice, older than human civilization, silent, steady, undisturbed. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Titan holds lakes of methane and ethane, but beneath them may lie another ocean, this one of liquid water mixed with ammonia. The crust may shift in slow waves, as tides from Saturn gently pull on Titan's inner layers. Even here, in the coldest twilight of the outer solar system, warmth rises from within. Somewhere, light continues to travel. These hidden structures, currents, pressures, magnetic fields, oceans, cores reveal that every world breathes in its own way. Some inhale heat, some exhale energy, some pulse with slow magnetism, some whisper with drifting tides beneath ice. And as you drift with them tonight, you begin to sense the quiet truth these interiors hold, that even in deep darkness, even in silence, there are slow movements shaping everything from within. Not loud, not sudden, just patient rearrangements across deep time. You can rest now, safe and low, somewhere. Light continues to travel. They continue revealing their hidden movements, not the sweeping orbits or visible rotations, but the inner murmurs that shape each world quietly from within. Deep time speaks most clearly through these subtle motions, a magnetic shift, a creeping current, a pulse traveling through rock or liquid. You can rest now, slow and low. Magnetic fields, for instance, act like halos around several planets, shielding atmospheres, redirecting charged particles, and creating auroras that shimmer silently at the poles. Earth's field reverses every few 100,000 years, its north and south poles wandering slowly across the surface in a drift of 1040 kilometers per year. This wandering is not chaotic. It is the quiet relocation of an invisible compass guiding the flow of Earth's molten core. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Jupiter's magnetosphere stretches so far that it encloses dozens of moons, forming the largest planetary magnetic structure in the solar system, a region spanning over 7 million kilometers toward the Sun. Particles caught in this field spiral for months, even years, creating a soft radio hum that spacecraft can detect. If sound could exist in space, this hum might resemble a low, distant wind. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Saturn's field is nearly perfectly aligned with its rotation, creating an unusual symmetry that puzzles scientists. A field this smooth means the planet's interior rotates with a steadiness unmatched by any other giant world. The same forces generate auroras that glow in pale blues and purples, circling the poles like faint halos suspended in darkness. You can rest now, soft and safe. Uranus and Neptune break the pattern entirely. Their magnetic fields are wildly tilted. Uranus by 59 degrees, Neptune by 47 degrees, and both are offset from their centers. This creates magnetic seasons, with regions of intense activity rotating in and out of sunlight. Yet even here, where the physics becomes strange, the feeling remains gentle. A slow turning geometry, a soft rearrangement across time. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Internal heat offers another rhythm. Earth releases its warmth primarily through plate tectonics, continental drift, at the pace of centimeters per year. Mountains rise, not with violence, but with persistence, forming peaks over millions of years as slow pressure pushes upward. Underwater, volcanic vents release mineral-rich plumes that feed entire ecosystems in the dark. These vents are powered by currents within Earth that shift with the subtlety of drifting tides. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Jupiter and Saturn radiate internal heat created by gradual contraction, a process known as Kelvin-Helmholtz contraction. Over billions of years, these giants release energy stored from their formation, cooling at a rate so slow it becomes almost imperceptible. Saturn radiates 2-3 times as much energy as it receives, suggesting a deep, ongoing process involving helium droplets falling like slow rain toward the core. You can rest now, slow and still. Even icy moons hold heat quietly. Enceladus, a tiny moon of Saturn, only 500 kilometers across. Vents, plumes of water vapor from cracks near its south pole. These plumes rise hundreds of kilometers into space, driven by global oceans beneath the surface warmed by tidal flexing. Despite the apparent motion, nothing here is abrupt. Everything unfolds with the unhurried rhythm of freezing and thawing over eons. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. On Titan, the atmosphere moves in layers. Winds near the surface drift at walking speed, while high-altitude winds form jet streams hundreds of kilometers above. Rain falls, not as water, but as methane, forming droplets that descend slowly through thick air, taking hours to reach the ground. Each raindrop carries the calm of a world that has known only twilight for billions of years. Somewhere, light continues to travel. And beyond these worlds lie countless smaller bodies, asteroids, Kuiper Belt objects, comets each with interior structures shaped by slow, creeping changes. Ice sublimates over centuries. Rock fractures under temperature cycles. Dust settles in layers that may never be disturbed. Nothing hurries. Nothing collapses suddenly. Deep time holds everything in its palm. You can rest now, safe and low. As you drift with these inner motions, a gentle truth rises. The solar system is alive, not because it moves quickly, but because it moves slowly. Its rhythms unfold at the pace of breath long, steady, patient. These hidden processes mirror the quiet settling of your own body. The way heat spreads, the way tension fades, the way rest deepens. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It becomes even quieter as we drift outward, past the familiar paths of the planets, into regions where distance stretches into something almost dreamlike. The solar system is not a single neighborhood, it is a layered expanse. widening gently into the dark. You can rest now, slow and low. Just beyond Neptune lies the Kuiper Belt, a broad ring of icy objects orbiting the sun in long, slow arcs. Most of them are small frozen fragments of the early solar system, but together they form a quiet population tens of millions strong. Temperatures here fall below 220 degrees Celsius, and sunlight is so faint that it resembles a permanent bluish dusk. Somewhere, light continues to travel. One of the most iconic inhabitants of this region is Pluto. Its orbit lasts 248 Earth years. Its seasons unfold over decades, and its atmosphere forms and collapses depending on how close it drifts to the sun. When Pluto's nitrogen ice warms slightly, it sublimates, rising into a thin mist. As the world moves away again, the mist falls back gently, as frost, a planetary breath stretched across centuries. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Farther out, scattered objects follow eccentric, elongated orbits. Some take thousands of years to complete a single loop. These bodies are remnants of early gravitational scattering, nudged outward by Jupiter and Saturn in the solar system's infancy. Yet, despite their chaotic origins, their present motion feels serene ice drifting in deep space, guided only by faint sunlight and gravity's soft pull. You can rest now, soft and safe. Eventually, distances become so vast that familiar terms lose meaning. Beyond the Kuiper Belt lies the scattered disk, and beyond that, the hypothesized inner Oort cloud, a spherical region filled with icy objects loosely bound to the sun. Some of these worlds may require tens of thousands of years for a single orbit, moving so slowly that their positions barely change over human lifetimes. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Comets emerge from this deep reservoir, long-period comets, with orbits lasting thousands to millions of years, fall inward from the Oort cloud in graceful parabolas. When they approach the sun, their icy surfaces release vapor, forming glowing comae and tails that can stretch millions of kilometers. But out here, before the heat touches them, comets are silent, frozen, and perfectly still, like crystalline seeds drifting in cosmic night. It's okay to drift slow and low. The boundary between the solar system and interstellar space is not a thin line, but a gradual transition shaped by the solar wind. This wind expands outward until it meets the pressure of the galaxy around it, slowing at the termination shock, flowing irregularly at the heliosheath, and finally giving way at the heliopause. This region, stretching billions of kilometers, acts like a soft, extended breath, the edge of the sun's influence dissolving into the dark. You can rest now, slow and still. Voyager 1 crossed this boundary in 2012, traveling over 17 kilometers per second. Yet even at that speed, the stars barely shift, and the spacecraft drifts through a region where particles arrive at the rate of a few per cubic centimeter. Silence here is not an absence, it is a presence, deep and comforting. A vastness softened by distance. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Scientists estimate that the outer Oort cloud, if it exists as predicted, may extend nearly 1 light-year from the sun. At that distance, sunlight is so faint that it becomes indistinguishable from starlight. Yet the sun still holds these icy objects gently, tugging them in slow curves that take millions of years to complete. Gravity persists even where light fades. Somewhere, light continues to travel. And as we drift through these far boundaries, the solar system reveals itself not as a flat disk, but as a soft sphere of influence, a long breath held for billions of years, expanding slowly, resting against the edge of the galaxy. There is no rush here, no sudden changes, only distance turned into calm, only time stretched into safety. You can rest now, safe and low, somewhere. Light continues to travel. They drift with unimaginable patience through the outermost regions of the sun's domain icy worlds, dormant comets, and tiny fragments that move so slowly they might as well be suspended in time. The farther from the sun they lie, the softer their motion becomes. Distances spread, temperatures fall, and gravity loosens its hold in gentle increments. You can rest now, slow and low. In the heliosheath, the region just inside the heliopause, the solar wind slows to about 100 kilometers per second. Mixed with particles from interstellar space, the sun's magnetic field becomes distorted, curved backward like strands of silk flowing in a river. Voyager instruments recorded fluctuations here no louder than faint static, the softest boundary between two cosmic realms. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Outside the heliopause, the environment changes. Particles are no longer shaped by the sun's influence, but by the galaxy itself. Interstellar plasma flows gently past. Its density, roughly 1 particles per cubic centimeter, a level so low that even a drifting grain of dust can travel for centuries without touching anything. This is the quietest region known to humanity, a silence measured not in sound, but in emptiness. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The solar system's motion through the Milky Way is another layer of calm. It drifts around the galactic center at roughly 220 kilometers per second. Yet one orbit takes nearly 230 million years, meaning the dinosaurs lived their entire reign without the solar system completing even one lap. This slow orbital journey carries us through regions of dense stars, then through quieter spaces where stars thin into gauzy light. You can rest now, soft and safe, over long periods. The solar system also bobs up and down through the galactic disk, crossing the midplane every 30-35 million years. This vertical motion resembles a gentle oscillation, as though the entire system is rocking slowly in a cradle of starlight. The scale is enormous, but the rhythm is soothing upward drift, downward drift, each movement spread across millions of centuries. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Cosmic rays, tiny high-energy particles from distant supernovae, move through interstellar space and occasionally drift into the solar system. The sun's magnetic field deflects many of them, and during solar maximum, the shielding grows even stronger. These cycles change over 11-year intervals, not in abrupt jumps, but in slow rises and falls like breath. Somewhere, light continues to travel, and farther still, beyond the Oort cloud, Beyond the heliopause lies true interstellar space, where the sun becomes just another star among billions. From that distance, Earth would be invisible. Even Jupiter would appear only as a faint reflection of sunlight, lost against the dark. Only the sun, shining gently, would mark the presence of our system. A small yellow star drifting through a spiral arm of the galaxy. You can rest now, slow and still. Occasionally, passing stars will brush close, not colliding, but drifting within a few light years, nudging the Oort cloud with their faint gravitational pull. These events happen every hundreds of thousands of years, each one subtly adjusting the future paths of long-period comets. The solar system is never truly alone. It moves through a galaxy filled with slow, distant companions. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The sun itself orbits the center of the Milky Way, together with billions of stars, creating a vast, rotating current. This current forms patterns similar to river flow, with some stars moving faster, some slower, but all sharing in the same gravitational embrace. The solar system is a small part of this enormous drift, a speck of warmth carried along a spiral path older than history. You can rest now, safe and low, and through all of this movement, the orbit around the galaxy, the oscillation through the disk, the outward breath of the solar wind, the slow pull on icy bodies across light years, a single feeling emerges. The solar system is held gently, not rigidly, not tightly, but with the soft persistence of cosmic balance. Every world drifts, every cycle unfolds, everything continues in wide, slow arcs of calm. Tonight, as your breath softens and your thoughts drift outward, you join this motion, this quiet migration through the galaxy, this long exhalation of light and gravity. The solar system carries you, and you carry its stillness in return. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It becomes softer still when we look not at the shapes of worlds, but at the stories carried within them, stories made of dust, starlight, and time so long that it becomes almost a sensation rather than a number. Every grain of material in the solar system holds an origin older than the planets themselves. You can rest now, slow and low, before the sun ignited. Everything here was part of a giant molecular cloud, hydrogen, helium, and traces of heavier elements drifting in cold darkness. Temperatures floated near 260 degrees Celsius, and dust grains no larger than smoke drifted in silence for millions of years. These grains had formed in the explosions of ancient stars, carrying with them atoms of carbon, oxygen, iron, the same atoms now forming your bones, your blood, your breath. Somewhere, light continues to travel. As gravity gathered this cloud, it began to collapse, not quickly, not with force, but gradually, gently, over the course of a few million years. The center grew warmer, spinning, forming a protostar surrounded by a disk of material spiraling inward. This disk became the birthplace of the planets, a slow carousel of dust learning how to become worlds. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Within this disk, dust grains collided. Most impacts were soft, like drifting snowflakes meeting in the air. Electrostatic forces helped them stick, forming clusters a few millimeters wide, then centimeters, then meters. These early bodies are called planetesimals, small seeds that would eventually grow into planets. It took millions of years for these seeds to become worlds. You can rest now. Soft and safe, Jupiter likely formed first, its enormous mass sculpting the disk around it. Once it grew beyond 10 Earth masses, it pulled in vast amounts of gas, becoming a giant with enough gravity to reshape the orbits of countless planetesimals. Some were flung outward to become part of the Kuiper Belt. Others were scattered into what would later become the Oort cloud. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Saturn formed next. Then, the ice giants Uranus and Neptune migrating outward over hundreds of millions of years. Their migration was not chaotic. It was a slow rearrangement, a gentle gravitational negotiation that eventually settled into the calm structure we drift through today. These movements created the architecture of the solar system, the asteroid belt, the Kuiper Belt, the long-period comets. It's okay to drift slow and low. Meanwhile, the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars formed from rocky debris left behind. Collisions were more common here, but across millions of years, they grew into stable worlds with their own compositions and temperatures. Earth's water likely came from icy planetesimals and early comets, delivered grain by grain over countless impacts. These deliveries were slow, spread across tens of millions of years, each one contributing a tiny fraction of the oceans we know today. You can rest now, slow and still. Even meteorites hold memories of this ancient era. Some contain grains older than the sun, called presolar grains, tiny crystals forged in supernovae or aging stars billions of years before our solar system formed. These grains drifted through space until they were captured by the collapsing cloud that became our home. Holding a meteorite is like holding a piece of starlight that predates everything we know. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The elements themselves tell a story of slow transformation. Hydrogen came from the Big Bang. Carbon formed in the hearts of dying stars. Iron was forged in supernova explosions. Gold and platinum formed in neutron star collisions, scattering through the galaxy as faint dust. All of these elements gathered here, settling into planets, moons, oceans, mountains, and eventually into you. Somewhere, light continues to travel, and through all of these origins, a single theme emerges. The solar system is not simply a place. It is a memory of stars, of dust, of collapses, of gentle collisions, of time stretching across billions of years. Your body carries that memory. Your breath carries it too. You can rest now, safe and low. Tonight, the ancientness of the solar system does not feel overwhelming. It feels soft. It feels familiar, because the atoms around you and the atoms within you once drifted together in the same dark cloud, waiting for light. Somewhere, light continues to travel. They carry the memory of everything that came before the planets, the moons, the rings, the drifting fragments of ice, all made from atoms that once glowed in the hearts of ancient stars. Nothing in the solar system is truly new. Everything here is inherited, reshaped, and carried forward across cosmic ages. You can rest now. Slow and low. Consider this. The calcium in your bones was forged in supernova debris more than 5 billion years ago. The iron in your blood was compressed in the collapsing heart of a dying star. The oxygen you breathe was shaped through fusion in long-vanished suns. Atoms drifted for eons before becoming part of Earth and eventually part of you. Somewhere, light continues to travel. These atoms were carried by interstellar dust, hidden within cold clouds for millions of years, until gravity gathered them into the swirling disk that birthed our solar system. Once inside the disk, they began a slow migration, spiraling inward, drifting outward, colliding, cooling, warming, settling, following a choreography guided only by gravity and time. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Some atoms became part of planets, some hid in comets, some remained in the asteroid belt, waiting billions of years before falling as meteorites into Earth's thin atmosphere. A meteor is not a sudden event. It is the final moment of a journey billions of years long, the quiet release of a grain of dust completing its orbit through deep time. You can rest now, soft and safe. Light, too, has its journey. Photons created in the sun's core take tens of thousands of years to reach the surface, bouncing between atoms in a dense interior before finally escaping into space. Once free, they travel at 300,000 kilometers per second, crossing the solar system in minutes or hours, reaching outer worlds with a softness that feels more like memory than illumination. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Even after leaving the sun, light changes. As it travels outward, it spreads, its intensity fading according to the inverse square law. This softening is why Jupiter's clouds glow gently instead of harshly, why Saturn's rings shimmer rather than blaze, why Pluto's icy mountains appear blue in distant twilight. The farther light travels, the more tender it becomes. It's okay to drift, slow and low. Comets carry another story of age. Their nuclei, only a few kilometers across, are made of dust and ice preserved from the early solar system. Every time a comet approaches the sun, it sheds a thin layer of material, a few meters of depth lost across each orbit. Over thousands of passes, a comet shrinks, softens, and eventually fades back into dust. Its life is a slow dissolution, a gentle return to the cloud from which it came. You can rest now, slow and still, and cosmic recycling continues endlessly. Stars die and release their elements. Dust gathers into clouds. Clouds collapse into new stars. New stars forge new elements. Some are carried away by winds, some trapped in planets, some drifting for billions of years before finding a new home. There is no final form, only transformation spread across incomprehensible time. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The solar system itself will follow the same path. In about 5 billion years, the sun will swell into a red giant, expanding beyond Earth's orbit, shedding its outer layers into space. These layers will cool, drift, and eventually mix with interstellar dust, becoming part of new clouds, new stars, new worlds. Even endings here are gentle. The slow exhalation of a star returning its material to the galaxy. Somewhere, light continues to travel, and through this entire cosmic cycle, you are made of the same material, shaped by the same slow processes, carried by the same quiet forces. Your presence is not separate from the solar system. It is an extension of its history. Every calm breath you take reconnects you to billions of years of drifting, collapsing, glowing, cooling, and beginning again. You can rest now, safe and low. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It becomes even gentler when we look at the solar system, not as individual worlds, but as a single, balanced pattern, a quiet structure held together by the soft, steady pull of gravity. Nothing here is arbitrary. Every orbit, every tilt, every rotation finds its place in a wider harmony. You can rest now, slow and low. Gravity binds the planets in elliptical paths, each orbit described by simple, ancient laws. Earth's orbit is almost circular, with an eccentricity of only 0.167, a near-perfect balance that stabilizes climates across long periods. Mars, with a slightly more elongated orbit, experiences gentle variations in sunlight that shape its long, quiet seasons. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Jupiter's immense gravity helps maintain order. It shepherds asteroids, stabilizes resonance patterns, and protects inner worlds by diverting many long-period comets. Without Jupiter, Earth might have experienced far more impacts across its history. A giant planet acting as a slow guardian, clearing paths over billions of years. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Resonances create another layer of harmony. Pluto, for instance, is locked in a 3-2 resonance with Neptune. For every 3 orbits Neptune completes, Pluto finishes 2. This prevents close encounters, ensuring their paths remain safe and stable indefinitely. It is a mathematical dance, a delicate choreography that has held steady for millions of years. You can rest now, soft and safe. The asteroid belt tells its own story of balance. Rather than forming a planet, its material was shaped by Jupiter's gravity into a wide, stable region filled with quiet objects. Though countless rocks drift there, the distances between them are vast, hundreds of thousands of kilometers on average. Space, even in crowded regions, remains overwhelmingly calm. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Saturn's rings illustrate harmony on a smaller scale. Billions of ice particles orbit at different speeds depending on their distance from the planet. This creates subtle wave patterns, some caused by passing moons, others by slight gravitational variations within Saturn's interior. Though dynamic, the rings appear serene from afar, a frozen symphony of orbiting crystals. It's okay to drift, slow and low. The Trojans, groups of asteroids leading and trailing Jupiter, occupy stable gravitational points called Lagrange points. These points act like cosmic harbors, places where gravity from Jupiter and the Sun combine to create gentle pockets of stability. Some Trojans have remained in these quiet havens for over 4 billion years, drifting in soft arcs around the Sun. You can rest now, slow and still. Even the tilt of each planet contributes to the solar system's balance. Earth's tilt gives seasons. Mars's tilt changes slowly, shaping long-term climate cycles. Uranus tilts almost entirely sideways, creating decades of sunlight followed by decades of night. These tilts are not flaws, they are variations that give each world its unique rhythm. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Orbital spacing follows patterns as well. The distance between planets increases. The farther out you go, a natural result of how angular momentum distributes in a spinning disk. This spacing prevents overlapping gravitational influences, reducing chaos and enhancing long-term stability. Even the solar system's architecture feels like a slow, widening breath. Somewhere, light continues to travel, and as we drift through these patterns tonight, their calmness settles into you. The solar system is not a place of randomness, but of subtle, patient order, a structure shaped over billions of years by slow adjustments, soft migrations, and quiet gravitational agreements. Everything finds its place eventually. Everything settles. Everything aligns with gentle persistence. The solar system rests in balance, and as you listen, your own breathing begins to mirror that balance, deepening, lengthening, softening into ease. You can rest now, safe and low, somewhere. Light continues to travel. They continue moving through a framework of balance so old and so steady that even billions of years have barely disturbed it. The solar system lives in quiet equilibrium, a place where gravity, motion, and time fold together into patterns that repeat softly across ages. You can rest now, slow and low. One reason this stability persists is the spacing of planetary orbits. Each world sits far enough from its neighbors that their gravitational influences overlap only mildly, creating perturbations so gentle that they shift orbits only by fractions over millions of years. Earth's orbit varies by less than 2% from perfect circularity, keeping temperatures within a range suitable for oceans and life. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Even Jupiter, with its enormous mass, introduces more stability than chaos. Its presence reduces the likelihood of large asteroids migrating inward, and its orbital period of 1186 Earth years helps create resonances that organize debris into predictable patterns. The result is a cosmic architecture shaped as much by protection as by gravity itself. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The moons also contribute to balance. Earth's moon stabilizes Earth's tilt, preventing chaotic climate swings. On Mars, the small moons Phobos and Deimos follow nearly circular orbits, their tides influencing the planet's internal oscillations in subtle, long-term ways. Phobos drifts inward by 8 centimeters per year, a pace so slow it becomes meditative change, measured in millimeters across centuries. You can rest now, soft and safe. Saturn's moons maintain the elegance of its rings. Mimas, for instance, creates a gravitational resonance that clears the Cassini division, the gap between Saturn's A and B rings. Small moons behave like shepherds, guiding ice particles along stable paths and preventing collisions from growing chaotic. A single moon can shape patterns spread across hundreds of thousands of kilometers. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. The Trojan asteroids remain steady at Lagrange points because gravitational forces from Jupiter and the Sun cancel out in those pockets of equilibrium. Objects can stay there for billions of years, drifting gently in stable arcs, hardly changing position except for the slightest gradual wobble. This is cosmic stillness, not the absence of movement, but the presence of perfect balance. It's okay to drift, slow and low. The Kuiper Belt also shows long-term order. Objects within it maintain slow, predictable orbits, influenced by Neptune's gravity, but rarely disrupted. Because sunlight is so faint here, temperatures remain stable, preventing rapid changes in ice or rock. Everything evolves on million-year timescales, offering a sense of peace in deep distance. You can rest now, slow and still. Even the Oort cloud, though loosely bound, is a reservoir of long-term stability. Its objects remain gravitationally connected to the Sun, despite being up to a light year away. Their motions are so slow that a single degree of orbital shift might take hundreds of thousands of years. This region forms the solar system's soft outer shell, a sphere of calm that holds ancient ice in gentle suspension. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Long-term simulations show that the solar system, despite tiny chaotic influences, remains stable for billions of years. Planetary orbits drift slightly. Eccentricities rise and fall. Axial tilts shift in slow oscillations, but nothing happens quickly. Nothing hurries. Everything unfolds in wide arcs of patience. Somewhere, light continues to travel. And as we drift with these harmonies tonight, the architecture of the solar system begins to feel almost like a cradle, a structure designed not for tension, but for rest. Planets moving in slow loops, moons guiding rings into delicate ribbons, asteroids drifting in safe pockets, outer worlds tracing wide curves in pale sunlight. This is stability, not as silence, but as a deep, cosmic reassurance that motion can be calm, that cycles can be gentle, that the grand design of gravity leans toward balance. As your body softens, you begin to feel that same stability within yourself, a quiet center, a slow orbit, a rhythm that has always been there beneath your thoughts. You can rest now, safe and low. Somewhere, light continues to travel. It becomes softer when we shift our attention to time, not the minutes or hours that shape daily life, but the slow, sweeping currents of cosmic time that guide everything in the solar system. Here, time stretches, lengthens, and drifts like a long breath across the dark. You can rest now, slow and low. A single day is different on every world. On Mercury, one day lasts 408 hours, because the planet rotates slowly while drifting in a tight orbit. On Venus, A day is longer than its year. 243 Earth days to rotate, yet only 225 Earth days to orbit the Sun. These rhythms reveal a truth the mind finds. Soothing time can move in many ways, and none of them are wrong. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Mars turns a little slower than Earth, with a day lasting 24 hours and 37 minutes, close enough to feel familiar, but long enough to stretch slightly beyond our perception. Jupiter spins in just 10 hours, creating days so short that storms and cloud bands shift rapidly across its surface, even as the deep interior moves with near-eternal patience. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Farther out, days lengthen in subtle ways. On Saturn, a day lasts about 10.5 hours, but cloud layers rotate at slightly different speeds, creating a blurred sense of time, like wind passing over multiple curtains at once, each layer drifting softly against the next. Uranus and Neptune turning in cold twilight to complete their days in 17 and 16 hours, while their years stretch into centuries. You can rest now, soft and safe. A year on Earth feels long, but for other worlds, it is barely a blink or practically forever. Mercury completes 4 orbits in the time Earth finishes one. Neptune requires 165 Earth years to loop the Sun, once the planet has not even completed a full orbit since it was first observed in 1846. Time becomes a vast, slow circle, one that takes generations merely to rise and fall. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. Even geological time stretches differently across planets. Volcanoes on Mars have remained dormant for tens of millions of years. Impact craters on Mercury retain their sharp edges because erosion there is almost non-existent. Europa's icy crust slowly reshapes itself over spans of tens of thousands of years, driven by tides from Jupiter's pull. Everything changes, but everything changes slowly. It's okay to drift, slow and low. And then there is the age of the solar system itself, 6 billion years of formation, settling, cooling, orbiting. The Sun has completed roughly 2025 galactic orbits since it was born. Earth has rotated about 1.6 trillion times. Light has traveled outward in waves so numerous they cannot be counted. You can rest now, slow and still. Even future time moves gently. The Sun will brighten slowly over the next billion years, increasing its output by only a small fraction every 100 million years. Jupiter and Saturn will continue drifting outward by millimeters per year. Comets will continue falling inward in arcs lasting thousands of centuries. Nothing in the future of the solar system is hurried, panicked, or abrupt. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And as we imagine these timescales, our own sense of urgency loosens. The tension of days and hours dissolves. The mind slows to match the quiet tempo of the planets, the slow spirals of dust, the steady glow of the Sun as it turns through its long life. These epochs are not for thinking, they are for feeling, for letting the body soften into the rhythm of something far larger. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Tonight, drifting through these shapes of time, you become part of the same slow, unfolding your breath, a small orbit, your heartbeat, a gentle rotation, your thoughts moving outward in ever-widening circles. You can rest now, safe and low. They continue drifting through these slow layers of time, planets moving in rhythms so long that entire civilizations rise and fall before a single cycle completes. Time in the solar system is not something that passes. It is something that expands, like a soft horizon unfolding endlessly in every direction. You can rest now, slow and low. Light itself carries a timeline. Photons born in the sun's core take up to 170,000 years to escape into space, bouncing through dense plasma before reaching the surface. Only then do they travel freely 8 minutes to Earth, hours to Jupiter, days to Pluto, and nearly a year to reach the inner boundary of the Oort cloud. Even light moves slowly at first, as if learning how to become itself. Somewhere, light continues to travel. The atmospheres of worlds also evolve in long cycles. Venus's clouds shift across centuries, changing albedo and circulation patterns in ways that unfold across millennia. Mars's thin air thickens slightly during warmer epochs and thins during colder ones. Titan's methane cycle evaporation, condensation, rain, and lakes stretches across tens of thousands of years, moving with a patience that feels almost meditative. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Magnetic cycles carry their own slow heartbeat. Earth's magnetic field reverses polarity every 200, 0, 0, 0, 300, 0, 0, 0 years. Though the intervals vary, these reversals take thousands of years to complete, unfolding in stages, the field weakening, fragmenting, then rebuilding with north and south swapped. The planet remembers each cycle the way trees remember seasons quietly, without hurry. You can rest now, soft and safe. Even planetary rotations change over time. Earth's day lengthens by about 1.7 milliseconds per century, a result of lunar tides gradually transferring energy outward. The moon drifts away by 3.8 centimeters per year, altering the Earth. Moon dance in increments too small for any single lifetime to notice. But over millions of years, these changes shape tides, climates, and even the stability of Earth's tilt. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. On Jupiter and Saturn, storms last decades or centuries. The Great Red Spot has persisted for over 300 years, shrinking slowly as internal currents change. On Neptune, dark storms appear and vanish, sometimes lasting only months, sometimes returning in cycles that stretch across decades. Time in these atmospheres feels fluid moments merging into ages, a slow cascade of drifting clouds. It's okay to drift. Cometary cycles reveal time on an even larger canvas. Halley's Comet returns every 76 years, its path altered slightly by gravitational encounters. Other comets follow arcs lasting thousands or millions of years, their icy surfaces carrying the deep memory of the solar system's birth. Each return is a whisper from the past, a message drifting across epochs. You can rest now, slow and still, and then there is the sun's future, unfolding in quiet inevitability over the next 1 billion years. Its luminosity will increase by only about 10%. Its hydrogen fusion will continue steadily, providing the same gentle stability that has shaped the solar system for ages. Stars change, but they change slowly, in long, calm phases that echo the rhythm of deep breathing. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Across the far future, planets may shift slightly. Resonances may drift. Orbits may widen by small fractions, but nothing abrupt, nothing frightening, nothing that disturbs the gentle architecture sculpted over billions of years. The solar system prefers balance. It prefers calm. It moves through time with the intention of continuance somewhere. Light continues to travel, and as you listen to these vast, slow timelines, something inside you follows their pace. Thoughts lengthen, breath deepens, movement fades. Your awareness spreads like light across a soft horizon, expanding without effort. You become part of these rhythms, a slow orbit, a gentle cycle, a quiet future unfolding with ease. You can rest now, safe and low. You drift now through the quiet center of everything you've been exploring. The solar system no longer feels distant or vast. It feels like something that holds you gently. The way gravity holds each world in its slow, measured path. You are safe here, soft and low. The planets continue turning, but their motion feels more like breath than movement. Long inhales of light, long exhales of shadow, spreading out across billions of kilometers. As you settle deeper into stillness, you begin to sense these rhythms inside yourself, mirrored quietly in the rise and fall of your chest. Somewhere, light continues to travel. Every orbit becomes a kind of reassurance. Earth circling the sun once every 365 days. Jupiter completing its loop in 12 years. Neptune drifting through its immense path over 165 years. Each cycle unfolds without hurry, without deviation, without need for anything to be different than it is. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The space between the planets grows wider as you imagine it. Yet somehow, it becomes more comforting, an expanse not of emptiness, but of calm. Darkness is not absence. It is room to rest, room to loosen, room to drift low and slow. You can rest now, slow and still. If you picture the sun, it no longer shines with intensity. Its light feels warm but muted, spread thin across distance, arriving like the glow behind closed eyelids. It has been shining for 6 billion years, and it will shine quietly for billions more. That stability wraps around you like a blanket pulled softly to your shoulders. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered, and around you, the planets continue their gentle choreography. Mercury skimming close to the sun, Venus wrapped in its soft golden haze, Earth turning with its oceans and winds, Mars holding its ancient deserts, the giant worlds drifting in wide arcs, and the icy outer realms carrying fragments of the solar system's first dawn. Their motions do not require your attention. They simply move slow, patient, constant like thoughts dissolving before sleep. You can rest now, safe and low. Even the outer boundaries, the heliopause, the thin membrane where the sun's influence fades, feels less like an edge and more like a breath, the slow outward exhale of a star. Voyager passed through that space years ago, and now drifts in silence, carrying human sounds into the quiet around us. Its journey mirrors your own tonight, steadily outward, softly onward, without resistance. Somewhere, light continues to travel. As your body grows heavier, your awareness grows lighter, floating outward from the small boundaries of your thoughts into something wider. You feel the scale of the solar system not as distance, but as space to loosen, space to let the day fall away, space to feel your breath settle into its natural depth. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And now, the solar system feels less like a structure and more like a cradle, a slow, luminous arrangement that has held Earth and every life upon it for billions of years. The same forces guiding planets guide your rest. The same quiet cycles steady your mind. Gravity becomes gentleness. Light becomes softness. Time becomes ease. You can rest now, slow and low. The night around you is wide. Nothing asks anything of you. Nothing pulls your thoughts outward. You drift through a system designed by age and balance, carried by motion older than human memory, and softened by light older than every story you know. Somewhere, light continues to travel. You drift deeper now, as if the space around you is widening with every breath, softening into something weightless and warm. The solar system feels far away and close at the same time, a quiet presence holding you with slow gravity. You are safe here, soft and low. Your breath settles into a calm rhythm, a long inhale, a longer exhale, mirroring the way light moves outward from the sun, dimming gently across distance. Nothing in your body asks for effort. Nothing in your mind asks for direction. Somewhere, light continues to travel. You feel the planets as distant shapes, not in detail, but in the simplicity of their motion. Earth drifting, Jupiter rotating, Neptune gliding through cold twilight. Their movements soothe you, because none of them hurry, none of them strain. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Even the comets feel close in this softness. They are tiny, ancient bodies moving in long, smooth arcs that take thousands of years to complete. Their patience becomes your patience. Their stillness becomes your stillness. You can rest now, slow and still. Thoughts pass like dust drifting in a sunbeam, visible for a moment, then dissolving into warm shadow. Nothing holds you. Nothing presses. Your mind becomes spacious, quiet, open like the dark between the planets. In the quiet between stars, you are remembered. A subtle awareness spreads through you that you are made of the same elements that form the planets, the moons, the comets, the drifting dust of the Kuiper Belt, carbon from ancient stars, iron from forgotten supernovae, oxygen from suns older than history. You carry the memory of light within you. It's okay to drift. Slow and low, your body grows heavier. but your awareness grows lighter, a soft inversion that happens only as sleep approaches. You sense the solar system like a cradle, wide and steady, rocking in a rhythm older than life. You can rest now, safe and low. Imagine Earth turning beneath you, its rotation smoothing every thought, its orbit guiding you quietly around the sun. You don't need to follow the motion. You only need to let it hold you the way gravity holds oceans, the way moonlight holds night. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And somewhere at the far edge of everything, Voyager continues drifting in silence so complete that even time feels slower there. It carries human sounds, the heartbeat of our world, into a space that cradles them gently. Your breath feels like that now, a quiet signal carried outward, fading sweetly into rest. Somewhere, light continues to travel. The darkness around you is not empty. It is soft. It is patient. It welcomes stillness the way the night sky welcomes starlight. Every inhale widens the space within you. Every exhale smooths the surface of your thoughts. Nothing pulls you forward. Nothing asks you to return. You can rest now, slow and low. The solar system's rhythms settle beneath your awareness, sinking into the level of instinct and dream. Earth's slow rotation, the sun's warm, ancient glow, the long arcs of distant worlds. These motions shape the space inside you, quieting it, loosening it, carrying it. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Now the mind becomes less a thinker, more a listener, hearing only the softest shapes of this cosmic cradle adrift. A glow, a warmth, a darkness with no edges. You are here, and you are held, and you are safe. Somewhere, light continues to travel, and as you drift toward sleep, your presence blends with these slow, ancient rhythms. Your breath, a small orbit, your pulse, a quiet echo, your thoughts dissolving like starlight, fading into dawn. You can rest now, safe and low. Light still travels across the quiet distance where your thoughts are already fading. You are held in a softness older than time, a calm carried through every world you've drifted past tonight. Your breath falls into its own gentle orbit, slow, low, easy. You are safe here, safe and low. The universe breathes through you, a long, warm exhale, settling into the space behind your eyes, loosening everything that was heavy, softening everything that was bright. You drift, quiet as starlight sliding across an open sky. Light still travels, but you no longer follow it. It moves without asking, and you rest without effort. The solar system becomes a cradle. The night becomes a home, and your breath becomes the only motion you need. The universe breathes through you, slow and low, like a tide returning to calm waters. You are exactly where you should be. Nothing pulls you forward. Nothing asks you back. You float, weightless, warm, forgotten by time and remembered by everything. Light still travels, and you drift beneath it, quiet, soft, safe. You are home. You can rest now. If you're still awake, the next wonder waits in the light ahead.